What's up, everybody? It is Selly, and we are back with another Project Neeli update down here at Boston Marine Services. So, without further ado, guys, let's dig in and let's showcase some of the projects that have been going on board since our last update. One of the things you guys are going to notice, we get on board the boat, Boston Marine Services has gone ahead, they've taken out the ice maker, and we've got a refrigerator put into that space right there. So that's actually really nice. This is a nice outdoor entertainment space on board. So to be able to have that and keep your drinks cool and everything right there, that was a really nice, easy upgrade. Over here in this side, it's a little dark. We'll have more on this later. But down in here, this is all new DC main wiring going on down in there. That DC main wiring is all because of a major lithium battery bank that is being installed on board this boat to handle all of the ship service needs on here and hopefully rely a little less on the generator. And that's going to be all charged by a pair of the Xantrex solar panels we're putting on top. They're the big boy solar panels. I think they're about 3,300 watts a piece, so roughly give or take about 50 amps of solar output going back into these batteries. So while the boat is living on the hook, we're still able to keep things charged up without having to do the generator running to keep things going. Speaking of the generator, we are also going to be tying that in to the Victron system on board here so that we have the ability to do the auto generator start. So as this boat is sitting on the mooring, the generator can auto start and bring those batteries back up to a full state of charge and then shut off if they achieve their full state of charge. Now, that might be controversial. Some people might not like that, but it's becoming more and more popular thing to do for boats here in New England, especially when they're living on a mooring and don't have access to shore power all the time. So that's going on all over there. And then as we take a look down here into the machinery Seakeeper space, we're going hard at work down here, getting things marked off and taped off. Down in there, midship on this, we're going to be doing a PS70 and a PS51 transducer. So we're going to have forward-looking transducer on here, as well as that PS70 with that wide view and be able to map and make our own charts as well. So if you're cruising into new areas and you want to go ahead and know what the bottom looks like when you're going through to make sure when you come back out everything's all good, you're going to be able to create your own charts with that. So all of that's happening down there. Also down in that space, we are going to be putting a plethora of network switches. Now, why are we doing network switches? Why are we doing so many? Because on the back of the MFDs over there, which we'll get to in a minute, they have a bunch of ports on the back. But we like keeping things redundant on here, so everything is going into a blue nut switch. So we're not relying on having a display on or off. If we tied a radar into it, or if we tied one of the sonars into it, something like that, we are still going to have everything. This is all based around redundancy and making sure everything can stay online. So we're going to have good access to that down there, which is what he is currently marking off and getting prepped for. That'll have its own dedicated power feed as well as fuse block on it. Everything will be nicely labeled. We'll show you guys that as it's all coming along. Speaking of fabrication, we touched on it in the last video, guys. This boat is getting the Garmin Surround View. As far as we know, first boat to be retrofitted with the Garmin Surround View system. To do that, it creates some unique circumstances we have to work with. Normally, when you're putting this system in, the boat is blown apart. That means there's no deck on it. You can put the cameras where you need to, run your wires, and have wide open chaseways. Clearly, we got the boat open, but the deck's on it, so it's going to take a little bit more here. One of those things are the aft-facing camera for this. We had two options to go with here to get that. We could either go ahead and put that on the transom as high up as the rub rail as we can and get a nice rear view, or we can mount it aloft on the mast. Now, both pros and cons to both of those setups. If we put it down low, it's really great. Get a wide field of view from that camera, so we're able to see our corners of our swim platform. However, this is New England, moorings. We have dinghies on our swim platforms. So if there's a dinghy on it, that camera is now obsolete and not functional for you. So you can put it up on the mast. Now we put it up on the mast, we have a bimini top here that is sometimes in use when the sun does come out. So with that, we're going to end up with a little bit of obstruction if the bimini top is out, not necessarily being able to see the corners of the boat. So it's kind of a 50-50 crapshoot. Which way you're going to use the boat? How are you going to use it? In our case, we talked about it. It is going to go on the mast. Now, we talked about the mast being modified in our last video from Boston Marine Services. They did an awesome job fabricating it, putting a second tier on there for us. But we still need to figure out how to mount that camera. And that camera is kind of big. It's a lot. You can't just snap that thing on top of the mast. So our fabricators here at our York location went ahead and fabricated this mount up right here. Spin this thing around, you can see we've got the hole right here for the camera. This lid right here actually comes off so we can get access to the inside and mount it. And then on top, you've got our nav light and we've got our weather station mount. So had to get a little bit creative when it came time to getting that set up and dialed in properly. So that's everything going on there. Now, guys, this thing I think a lot of MJM owners are going to be really interested in, so pay attention, guys. This is the dash. We've got this all laid out here. If you guys remember on the old MJM, this is kind of an upward peak here, and we had 3 displays, and this far one was kind of a random smaller size than these were. Now, because this is the 9200s, and the smallest display available is in that 19-inch display, it leaves us a little bit limited. So we wanted to make sure we knocked this thing down here. Still got our handholds. We still have our mounts for everything coming in here, for our Volvo, for our trim tabs, for our searchlight, our stereo, our throttles, all of that. And we were able to put a TD50 into the mix as well. So this just turned out really slick. Great use of space. We got this thing nicely centered up right here, so now we're not offset with our displays. It just turned out really awesome with the team here at Boston Marine Services to pull this off. Take a look over here, guys. You can kind of get a scope of what it is we are working with on this boat for all of our networking. We've got all our drawing here so everybody can kind of see what is happening there. And we make our way over to our navigator side here. You can see we've got our 8612 mounted in here. Kind of had to follow this contour line because we're limited on space right here. So that is installed there. Now, let's hop on down below. Not too much progress to be shown here, but we are getting there. We've got everything kind of pulled apart still. We're going to end up pulling our AC wires back. We've got another JL amp. We've got a Fusion white box. You know, you can start to see where things are coming in line back here. So the quality of work that the team here at Boston Marine Service did, even on the backside where the work is never going to be seen by the end user, they still did a really nice job on that. So they've got that taken care of. We've got boxes upon boxes of Lumishore lighting over here because we've got a ton of Lumishore. We've got Lumishore cables. We've got all kinds of good stuff because, again, we are doing all Lumishore throughout. And you can see here we've got all of our zones. When we talk about Lumishore, we've got a lot of stuff going on there as well. So that is the MJM Project Neeli update for this week. So if you have a question about it, leave it down below. If you're thinking about, you know, maybe you have an MJM or you're looking at buying an MJM and you're thinking about, you know, wow, this turned out nice. Let's reach out. Let's get on the schedule. Let's think about fall now. I know it's a little soon. We're just kicking into the season, but it's never too early to think about the projects for next year, guys. So leave it down below in the comments. Reach out to us, sales@navtronics.com. And if you stayed along this long watching this video, you probably like the content, you probably like what you're seeing, so go ahead and smash that like and subscribe and button down below at Navtronics on YouTube and leave a comment, and we will see you guys with another update on this build real soon. Peace.